cannot believe it. I'm so excited to be sharing this with you and with the rest of the world that I am pregnant. I'm going to be a first-time mommy. And I really just wanted to get on here to share my experience of how I found out I was pregnant, what my symptoms were, who I shared the news with immediately, and how I found out, how that day went of getting that confirmation and positive pregnancy test. So hopefully, you know, if you were to get pregnant in the future, I'm going to share some tips and things that you might want to be thinking about when that day comes. I've officially survived my first trimester. That's why I'm on here finally sharing some of these things. But I wanted to welcome you to my first video in what will be a series of videos related to pregnancy. I intend for them to be kind of a follow along with me as I experience becoming a first-time mommy, but also I used to work with women who were expecting as a health educator, giving one-on-one counseling about nutrition, pregnancy, breastfeeding, child labor, and really how to alleviate any symptoms that come with pregnancy. And now I'll be able to chime in not only with my knowledge in these videos, but also my first-hand experiences of being pregnant. So I really want to share all that, what worked for me and what didn't, and just get on here on this platform so that we can share stories and really support each other becoming mothers or being mothers. And maybe those of you who are mothers already will share your experiences with me. At least that's what my hopes are, because I really love soaking up all of the stories that friends have been telling me. Anyway, let's get into this video. So first of all, my pregnancy was unexpected. And my pregnancy, I mean, I could expect it because I knew that I wasn't on birth control consistently. I hadn't been for the last 2 years because I had a miscarriage in 2016, and ever since then we were open to becoming pregnant. So I was kind of on and off, and I knew the consequences of that, and me and my husband were okay with that. We would say, se lo dejamos a Dios, right? We'll leave it up to God in God's divine timing, and when He believes that it's the right time for us, we're open to that. So fast forward to 2018, you know, I'm making huge life changes. I'm leaving my full-time job to go back to school and finish some prerequisites so that I can apply for a master's program. So I'm making all of these changes at the beginning of the year, and lo and behold, after I finished like full-time summer session, I find out I'm pregnant. One of the first symptoms or strange things I noticed before I even confirmed that I was pregnant were a couple of things. I had noticed that I had extreme fatigue. Now, I've never really been much of a napper, and all of a sudden, here I am, like I just finished a fast-paced 6-week course, and I am like napping all day, kind of to the point where I was getting a little concerned, like, am I becoming lazy? Like, so I just would remember that I would eat breakfast, and that would feel like total food coma. I'd knock out on the bed and just wake up in time for lunch, eat lunch, and then go and take a nap again, and then take that afternoon nap, wake up, eat dinner, and then go back to sleep. And I literally still felt tired. And at first I thought, okay, well, it was probably because of this fast-paced course. So I attributed that extreme fatigue to working long hours Monday through Friday. And then I didn't think anything much of it, right? But extreme fatigue was the first symptom. And then the second thing was I was doing a lot of yoga. And I was in the Superman position where I'm laying on the floor, belly down. And then my breasts become really tender. And it hurts almost, like a lot. So it was really tender and a really uncomfortable position. That had never happened before. I had been doing yoga for a really long time now. And that was odd. And then at the end when I was laying down, kind of ending my yoga session, I remember stretching and just feeling like a big cramp, and that really hurt. Like it was like a, why am I getting a cramp if all I'm doing is stretching, you know, my body? So that should have clued me in something was wrong, but I just attribute it to like, okay, tender breasts, you know, my period's supposed to be coming soon, so maybe it's just that. But this was at like another level of tenderness that I hadn't ever felt before. So then the third symptom, this one was the one where I was like, okay, something's really going on here. I remember this morning or this day I had woken up and I had been feeling very down and very sad, and I really didn't have a reason to be feeling that way, and I couldn't identify what was making me feel that way. Now I know it was the increase in hormone levels, but I was extremely sad. And I remember at dinner, you know, that's our time for me and my husband to catch up on how our day's been going. And I remember telling him like, hey, you know, I woke up super sad. And he turns up and looks at me, and it was like I turned on the water faucet, because as soon as I started crying I just couldn't stop, and I cried with so much emotion that I even like freaked myself out. But I was like a total mess. And you know, my husband said like, are you okay? Like he's used to me being a very emotional person, but like not if I don't have a reason. Like I always have a reason. So I couldn't attribute my sadness to anything. Oh, this happened the day before I found out, like the day before I confirmed for sure my pregnancy test. So by this time we had already, I think we had already kind of suspected, because my period wasn't on time and I'm pretty regular. So I remember like if I'm irregular it'll only be by 2 days, but not this time. Like this time, you know, I was supposed to get it like, what was it, like August 2nd, but it was already August 11th, you know. So my husband's already like, you know, what's wrong, Yesenia? I think we really should go get that pregnancy test and just to confirm, because you're really past your due date and that's never really happened. So that really kind of solidified, hey, like maybe I am pregnant. But yeah, like those 4 things. I know some people will be clued in that they're pregnant with other symptoms, like they'll vomit, they have nausea, they get dizzy, you know. But really my symptoms that I didn't really see coming was the extreme fatigue, the tender breast, the mood swings. What else? So there's not, I guess that one thing I wanted to mention was like, there's never, you might not even have symptoms, or if you end up having symptoms you might not even attribute it to you being pregnant, and there's really no other way to confirm besides taking a pregnancy test. So what did help me as well was when I began to be suspicious, I began looking at, I keep this fertility app where I just like to track, you know, my periods when we're intimate, and that was just kind of a something fun that I like to track. So I'll link that app down below, and that was nice because now I know exactly when we conceive, and it gave my OB a really good understanding of how far I was along when it came to dating my pregnancy and how many weeks I was. Whew, I'm getting tired being cross-legged. So where was I? Yeah. That Sunday, I remember first thing, me and my husband wake up and we go and we get a pregnancy test. We get home and immediately, you know, I take the test first thing in the morning because we knew that the first urine is the strongest, the urine that will have the most amount of HCG levels at the beginning. So I went ahead, took the test. My husband was in the kitchen and I remember just calling him like, Joel, and I don't know if he was able to tell by my tone of voice, but he comes in and he looks into the bathroom and says, you are, right, in Spanish, like, si estás, ¿verdad? And then I said yes, and like we hugged, and it was very like nice, and I can't explain it. It was like we knew that our life was never going to be the same ever again. So that's really how that day felt. We felt like we were in a dream, and it was very exciting. It was like a new emotion we were feeling. Nothing like, I think the first year we were married and I thought that I was pregnant and I took a pregnancy test, and I remember Hoed running into the bathroom like looking super scared. Like, are you pregnant? But now, you know, 5 years later, 5.5 years later of being married, like him looking into the bathroom all calmly like, you are, hon. Me, just us knowing, I feel like we kind of sensed it and we were just looking for that confirmation. So 2 positive pregnancy tests really confirmed it, and immediately we just wanted to share the news with my mom, my sister, and my mother-in-law.